Hold up, you guys. I'm just making sure I have chat open right now. Ah! Where am I going? I got this thing up. Okay. So I caught the tail end of this video, and in case you're not too familiar with this, what this video is a video where Lewis was very open about his thoughts. And I wanted to watch it with you guys because I thought that it's important that you guys have a reflection about this and you hear it. And I called up Lewis before I did the stream, so please do not think that he's not aware of this stream. I encouraged him to look at it, and I also told him that I thought he was very strong for posting this video, being so transparent. Now, one thing about YouTube, if you have followed my streams, I've said that there's a pressure for YouTubers to maintain this perfect image. You know, they're always smiling, they're always happy, they don't have any worries. In fact, some of these videos that you see for certain YouTubers, right, they never get personal. They're always talking about, let's say, a review channel, or they're always talking about, like, let's build something, but you never hear much about the creator themselves. The reason why this is because if you are making a video and you are giving out details, you know that it's being put out there, people can criticize you. Now, when I saw this video, again, I saw the tail end of it, I had to rewatch it. I thought that this was really a strong video to make. This was something that I think needs to be said more on YouTube, because sometimes people have things in their life and they feel so alienated when they watch these perfect people, and it's so easy for people to fall into depression or anxiety. So I really appreciate this video, and yes, I recommended that he watch this video. So this video is being said, I'm saying this response video out of love, out of concern, out of respect. And again, I hope none of you are, I don't think my audience is like this, but you don't see this as embarrassing. It takes a lot of balls, it takes a lot of strain to make a video like this. And let's watch it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't content create me. I truly hope it doesn't. And just to evade it a little, I'm gonna speed it up by 1.25. I don't know if that works, but I don't want this stream to get pulled abruptly.
Done.
And I'm going to interrupt it every so often so I can give you my thoughts.
I'm here in my $60 motel. You can see the $60
Oh, look at that. What is that, a gunshot?
motel sign from the wall up there. I'm just waiting for my laundry to be done. I got about another half hour on the timer before I can go on with my day. So, something that used to show up in my comments all the time, like this used to be a very common one, is why don't you take a break? Why don't you go on vacation? Why don't you go out there and enjoy your life? Why don't you, like, you work all the time, take time off, do something else, don't look at a MacBook, don't focus on business. You earned it, or all this type of stuff. And I thought I would explain why that is. It's not something I'm really proud of, but what the hell. So this morning I woke up and I had a number of interesting thoughts before I got on with my day. One of them was, what if my main
By the way, I want to pause this. You see JT, is that video shot by Erica? When I read this, I laughed because I thought, yeah, this actually does look like the kind of streaming thing I do. But yeah, moving on. Okay, I know I try not to give you shots of the floor as much anymore, but just tells you the kind of content my videos have.
primary business fails? What if my main business is no longer profitable because
So you're going to start hearing a list of what ifs.
I moved to a new location? What if the new devices that come out, even if right to repair does get passed, are just not fixable because, I don't know, let's say the water always goes to the CPU MOSFET that sends 12 volts to the CPU, and the CPU costs as much as the whole device. What if it is profitable, but only if you move to a cheaper location in New York, because your current landlord will be mad that you don't pay the full rent because of the complete destruction of walk-in business over the past year, and then you have to move once, but then New York goes to crap and you have to move again, so you have to move twice. What if, then they kind of went to a bunch of these what ifs, then it goes to, what if you are not, you get right to repair passed, but the business, is no longer something that people are involved in? What if you spend the money that you raise too fast and you do the wrong thing with it? What if you spend the money that you raise too slowly and people think that you're not doing anything at all? What if you make the wrong decision? What if you're not able to get people to buy into your vision for the 501c3 that you started, and the donor that gave you the money for that organization, who was happy to give it to you because they got your vision, is sad once they realize that you have nobody buying into your vision? And then it started to go down the hill of, what if right to repair doesn't pass and you're held at fault and you become the villain? What if the car insurance company winds up, what if the car insurance company doesn't allow you to file a diminished value claim and you have to go back to North Carolina and take them to court? What if the car insurance company screws you over and doesn't cover you on your rental car when they said they would? And then here's the point at which my loop of anxiety attack ended. It usually ends when it gets to something ridiculous. The next one was, what if, because people in North Carolina don't like those northerners from New York City in that small town, what if they find a video on the internet of a red truck getting crashed into by a white car on the internet, but the white car was at fault because they saw a guy with a New York, white polo shirt and electric car and New York plates, and they're going to stick it to him. So they take that video they find online, send it to the police department and say, that's this guy that crashed, don't listen to his dash cam footage, and then I get in trouble. It was at that point that I was able to snap myself out of it, because at that point, my what if was so ridiculous, was so asinine, was so just, what the hell are you doing, that I was able to get myself back into living my day. But this is something that happens to me anytime that I don't have something to work towards, a goal, a struggle, a task that I need to dig my teeth into. And it's something that has stuck with me throughout my entire life. And as much as I'd like to admit that the work that I do is because I'm such a hardworking guy that wants to, make money and help other people, and I want to show other people how to do what I do, and I like fixing things because it makes people happy, and I like figuring out new stuff so I can show it with people. If I'm being honest with myself, the reason that I put in all this work rather than just have a minimum wage job and then go home and play Final Fantasy over and over again is that I don't have it in me to relax. I've never had it in me to relax. And one of the worst things that can be done to me, what I consider to be just a Chinese torture, or just, the kind of stuff that you would do to somebody if Jack Bauer needed to get the codes to the bomb out of them and he had 30 seconds to torture them before it went off, is put me on a beach with a towel and tell me to relax and watch the waves and look up at the sky with my sunglasses. That's probably one of the worst things that I can do, is not having things to keep my mind busy, not having things to spend my time on. When I run out of things to put my mind into, when I run out of work, my mind starts to eat itself, and it eats itself in the worst possible way, to the point where I'm not able to leave my hotel room. I'm not able to get on with my day. I'm not able to get out of my bed because I am so just completely frightened by the world and every possible thing that could happen to destroy my life. Yet when I'm working, when I have 150 customers to reply to in an email chain, when I have when I have like 15 motherboards I need to fix, when I have an employee manual that I need to write, when I have politicians I need to reach out to, when I have a wiki to plan, when I have other things that I'm doing, this goes away. And the reason that I don't vacation, when people say, why don't you take a break? Why don't you do this, that, or the other? Is because for me, it's not possible. It doesn't work. When I'm to myself, when I'm by myself and actually in a place where I have the opportunity to relax, the exact opposite happens. I remember this in 2000.
Okay, so let me pause that, okay? So let's go back to this specific part right here.
Manual that I need to write. When I have politicians I need to read.
One moment.
Mind starts to eat itself, and it eats itself in the worst possible way, to the point where I'm not able to leave my hotel room. I'm not able to get on with my day. I'm not able to get out of my bed because I am so just completely frightened by the world and every possible thing that could happen to destroy my life. Yet when I'm working, when I have 150 customers to reply to in an email chain, when I have when I have like 15 motherboards I need to fix, when I have an employee manual that I need to write, when I have politicians I need to reach out to, when I have a wiki to plan, when I have other things that I'm doing, this goes away. Okay, so this is what this is what my perception is from the last 5 minutes and 36 seconds. So the what ifs, the thing that I'm hearing is all negative. It's like worst case scenario. And the problem with the whole worst case scenario is that you freak yourself out. It's not bad to think about it, okay? So for instance, right, I could think, well, what is the worst case scenario? What if someone breaks into the apartment? What if I'm going on the subway and I get assaulted? But the problem with that kind of thinking is that it's very easy to get into a whole state of fear, and there's a whole state of like possible paranoia over here. And it's not a good way to live one's life. Now, I know this is going to sound preachy, but hear me out. If you focus that thought about what if insert bad thing happens, it's going to stay in your mind, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I know that it was stated that the way it stopped is to distract. It's to do stuff, right? But I don't think it actually goes away. And the reason why I don't think it goes away is it's actually a distraction. What needs to be done, in my opinion, is to say, okay, these are the thoughts I have in my head.
let me take them one by one by one by one. Okay, so I understand things happen in life. I understand that bad things happen in life, but you can't live your life stating the whole what if thing. You have to say, okay, this is where I'm at. Instead of, what if I fall short on this? You could say, well, I'm right here right now. Let me try to be better tomorrow. So when people are working on a group project, right, they're moving forward. They know they're moving forward. They don't talk amongst themselves and say basically, oh, we're doing such a shitty job, or what if we fail on this project. They say, let's do the best we can. Let's look forward. Let's be optimistic. Because the moment that you start having that seed of self-doubt in your mind, it's not a good thing, because then you self-doubt yourself on one thing, then you self-doubt on yourself on another thing. I've been in a place where I've been very depressed and I've been anxious, and I used to have a feedback loop in my mind. It was really terrible. The only way I got out of it is I had to start surrounding myself with people. It's like I felt like they were supportive. I've said it before in my streams, like, a field of sunflowers. So I see sunflowers, and let me do this again. I see people like sunflowers. I imagine that when we go through a situation, we don't have to be alone. We can turn to the bright people in our life, consult them, talk to them, and say, these are the things that are going on in my head, and I have these worries. How do you think I can alleviate these worries? Do you think that these are sincere concerns? And I think it's like when you pile too much stuff on at one given time, it's not good. It's like if you're working, let's say you're going through a semester of college, right? You don't want to look at the whole freaking schedule and look at all the work requirements all at one time. You take it day by day by day by day. So also, when I'm hearing about the what if, all the negatives, I also hear a tinge of self-loathing, which is not healthy. Because let's be real here, and I'm 99%. Let me see who's reading. Lewis is watching this. I'm pretty damn sure, right? I'm hearing a tinge of self-loathing, and the real thing is that although you are concerned about failing or falling short, you have advanced right to repair more so than I would say any specific individual out there. You've done an amazing job. So don't worry about what people might think, or if you think people might think you're, a loser, because that's not the case. People support you, they love you, and if it seems like there's a stumbling block, it's not abnormal. Things don't go smoothly, right? If people are trying to get certain legislation passed for a number of years, it doesn't happen within 6 months. It doesn't happen within 1 year. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of planning, and even movements that we see around, right? Those people who say like, oh, let's all come together and let's move on with this movement. Like the hippie movement, for that kind of stuff. It takes time to get the message out there. So do not think of yourself as like you're already calling out the failure or the possible failure before it even happens. You have time on your side. You can pivot. You can readjust, and you have people who support you. You will have haters. Everybody has haters. I have haters as well, but you can't focus on the failures. You can't focus on the haters. You have to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to think optimistically. And this is, more importantly, what I can handle. The moment that you overstress yourself is not a good thing, because then you have all these things coming at you all at one time. So my recommendation would be break it down and say, be at peace where you are. Say, okay, maybe I'm not at the place that I want to be, but I'm confident that I can be at that place at a later time. I just need to give it time. I know it can be very infuriating to say, oh, okay, well, I expected to be at this space within this time, but you have to look around you and say, okay, people, your timeline of certain things is going to be different than other people's timeline. I understand that you're worried about certain things like the right to repair stuff, but people support you. It's like, again, you've done so much more for the movement than other individuals single-handedly. Okay, I'm not saying like the movement is comprised of a lot of individuals, but let's be honest here. Like Lewis has pretty much, been one of the ones who like really pushed it. When I think about Right to Repair, I think about Lewis, I think about Jessa, those kind of people. And yeah, hold on to that. Hold on to that. Like don't knock yourself down like that. The moment that you knock yourself down like that, that is the part where it's not going to be good. And then I also heard the whole thing where it says, you got to keep your mind busy. Again, why? Here's the thing about keeping your mind busy, okay? When I've been in a place where I've had depression, okay? And the way I stopped it is, yes, I moved forward. I recognized my insecurities and I said, okay, well, can I be better? It's like I don't see my mind as eating itself, and this is just my experience, if I feel like there's going to be a positive end goal. Now, I'm picking up that there's doubt about the positive end goal, but to make this situation better, you have to believe like, hey, I'm putting a lot of effort in. I have, let's say, a a game plan going on. So because of this game plan, yeah, I have faith that it could possibly work. But the moment that you start doubting your game plan and say, well, what if this, what if that, and you start feeling like possibly you're alone, that's not right. That is not good, because again, you have so much people who are around you, who support you, and people who are rooting for you. Even if you don't see the, even if you don't have faith in yourself, I think you have a blind spot, and people see, people have that faith in you. Okay, so let's look at this.
And the reason that I don't vacation, when people say, why don't you take a break? Why don't you do this, that, or the other? Is because for me, it's not possible. It doesn't work. When I'm to myself, when I'm by myself and actually in a place where I have the opportunity to relax, the exact opposite happens. I remember this in 2014. In 2014, I was about 5 years into starting my business. 5 years into starting my business, and I got to the point where I could take a vacation. I had Milan, Steve, and Viniera, the dream team. These three were just, man, a team like that in their prime, that's a repair shop. A repair shop with 15 employees would have done less work than those three people when they were hustling. Those were good times. And I took a vacation to go see my dad, and then I also wanted to visit this company that I was selling stuff to from time to time, and also, admittedly, I kind of had a crush on the cute receptionist there. We had a fling when I visited, but anyway, that's a long story.
Okay, I'm going to forget I heard that.
I went on this trip.
I will forget I heard that.
And I went to see my dad, and I was going to bed at like 11 o'clock at night and waking up at 12 the next day, just being a total bum. I would just kind of enjoy myself, and I enjoyed myself, and I talked with my dad about, stuff that was going on, and watched television, and, we went out to eat, and we would talk about the future and the past, and just read the news. It was really chill. We didn't really do much. And then when I went to the other company, and, I had the fling ended, and then I went about my way home. And what I saw is when I went home, that usually what happens when I would leave my business for a day or 2 days or 4 days is a customer device would get screwed up, or a customer would be made mad because someone here didn't know what to say. But this is different. I had the dream team now, Milan, Steve, and Viniera. So I left, and I came back. And when I came back, I shit you not, we were $6,000 ahead of where we were when I was there. We were $6,000 ahead. For a month, I didn't work. I didn't respond to a single customer email. I didn't fix anything. I didn't do anything. No management. And we were $6,000 ahead of where we were when I was fixing things, was doing work. So this means I get to live the dream, right? I get to be a business owner. I get to lay back, relax, not do anything. Go sip Mai Tais on the beach or something, because you can make your little living here. At the time, I think I was paying myself like $800 or $1,000 a week. Like nothing crazy, but $800, $1,000 a week. I used to work the whole 40 to 80 hours a week. Now I was away for a month. I made $800 or $1,000 a week, and I didn't have to work. I thought, wow, that's crazy. I can go off and do whatever I want. And I spent about a few days doing it, and I absolutely lost my mind.
Okay, so the reason why I think you lost your mind is because the thing that you were doing with your dad, you said that you were chilling, you were enjoying yourself, you were being a bum. These are things that you personally take a lot of interest in. But if you, okay, and it also comes down to, like, what are your hobbies? Or what do you find interesting? Like, can you walk on the beach and can you say, like, hey, I really like the ocean and I'm going to absorb it in? Like, a lot of people would find that interesting, or they would find that calming. But if you have a mind where you have it filled with a bunch of stuff, right? Or if you have doubts in yourself, I think that quietness can actually be a negative space. So, for instance, right? Let's imagine a closet. You have a closet, it's filled with stuff. From that stuff, when you open the closet, you see all the stuff and you're like, oh crap, I feel anxiety because there's so much stuff in there. When you clear it out, right, you see the emptiness. But when you see the emptiness, you get to see the real state of your closet. Does it have a hole in the wall? Is there like a mouse infestation in there? That kind of stuff. So when you clear your head, I think that's really a testament of how comfortable are you with yourself at the end of the day. Because if you are not comfortable with just being by yourself and just being, like having a clear head. I'm just saying, like, you don't have to focus on anything, right? You just look at the closet space as is. That kind of stuff, it's like you have to just kind of like find your I know this is going to sound strange, but you have to find like your the self-worth in there, because I kind of pick up like there's like self-worth issues in here that's kicking in once there's quietness in there, and I could be wrong.
I hadn't started a 501c3 or a 501c4. I hadn't started a right to repair fight. I hadn't started trying to fix boards at component level. New York City wasn't falling apart at that point in time. There wasn't a COVID monster and an inflation monster and all these other monsters. But I managed to find things that got me so messed up in the head that I wasn't able to leave my own apartment for a few hours. And then I went back to work and I found something to do. And what I found to do after I got back, I spent about June doing a little less work. July 3rd or July 4th, I started looking up resources for component level board repair again. This is something that I had done in the past and always failed at. And we were outsourcing board repair at the time to a company that had 5 employees. They had 5 employees and 1 manager, and 90% of their business was us. So it's fair to say that there were 5 people full-time working on our board repair queue. And I decided, I'm just going to do this myself. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do board repair. I don't know how to read schematics. I don't know how to